If you want to learn the process to embodying and empowering the feminine spirit, then check out the book, Healing the Feminine Energy and the Wounds of Your Inner Child. All right, in this video, we're going to be speaking about the cons of dating or being with a masculine man. And this is a part 2 to the video that I did about the cons of being with a feminine woman. And it's not to put anyone down or put anything down like that. It's just basically talking about balance, right? What are the pros and cons? Because we have to see things from both perspectives. Nothing is perfect. So you might be saying, I want the type of guy who takes charge, who puts his foot down, who knows how to, do me right. He just gives me that energy. He's a manly man, blah, blah, blah. But of course that comes with certain consequences and costs. So we're going to speak about that in this video. Everything comes at a cost, but it's not to say that those costs are so major that it's a red flag or bad. It's just something that you have to be wary of and watch out for, or be noticed. Just know that it's there, be aware of. So the first thing is that a masculine man might sometimes feel like he's too controlling. And what do I mean by that, right? A man who is a masculine man is going to want to lead his woman. So obviously, if you haven't been with that sort of guy, you're not used to those guys, or you've just been independent for some time, naturally, it's going to make sense that that can feel controlling sometimes, even when he's not really being controlling, even when he's just being a man. You're more likely to be like, is that controlling? He's instructing, guiding, and telling me what to do. But as a man, that's what he's supposed to do. I was saying in the last video, right, you got to pick the struggle, pick which one you would rather want. And I said, directing to the men, would you rather want these little cons that come with the feminine woman but come with many pros, or would you want the masculine woman who comes with many pros, many cons? Pick which one you want. So as a woman, you have to think, what's actually important to me? Do I want to be with the type of guy that can't lead, or do I want to be with the type of guy that can lead? And sometimes I'm not going to be used to the fact that, well, I have to trust in his leadership, which can feel controlling. As I said, we're not talking about if he actually is controlling. I'm saying it could feel like he is. So an example could be if a man cares about how his woman is representing him and family and the relationship, how she communicates with other people that could be online, what she's posting, who she's replying back to. A masculine man usually is not going to be just okay with his woman replying to DMs, for example. And if he says, no, I don't want you to do that, even if it's just a guy complimenting you and saying you look pretty, oh, why can't I say thank you? I think that's controlling. It's actually not controlling. It's just his boundaries and his structure. But that might feel controlling if you're not used to a guy who stands up for himself and is able to lead or implement his structure. It's just an example. The second thing is that on occasions, it would be wise, and you're probably going to have to allow him to be right in certain situations, even if there's more likelihood that you are the one that's right. Because I always say this, right? As a woman, and really even as men too, but this video is for women wanting to be with a guy that's a masculine leader. So as a woman, you're going to have to pick your battles. Which ones are really important to you? Men do have an ego. They want to be the king of the castle. This is not a bad thing. And on some occasions, you might have to allow him to be right so he can find out that he is actually wrong. Or you will have to allow him to be right just so that he can have the feeling of, okay, I'm leading the ship right now. And as long as there's no danger, as long as there's not something major that could happen, what actually is the problem? So you have to pick your battles, which ones are really important to you and which ones are not important to you. Okay, the third thing is that a masculine man is likely to lack the softness and sometimes the caringness that you would want and that you would get from someone who is a more feminine energy being, right? And sometimes, of course, you might need that, and he might not be able to just supply that caring nature like you want. But again, you have to, pick a struggle, because oftentimes what comes with a gentle guy is that he won't know how to be a man, a strong man at that, in other areas, right? And this is kind of natural. If he's a masculine man, it's very hard for him to just turn off his nature, turn off his masculine strength, turn off his masculine energy and just enter feminine energy. Hopefully you hit the jackpot and you get a guy that also is very much or adequately in touch with his feminine energy too, so he can kind of turn on that aspect of himself. But even then, that's not really going to be as much as it would be if you was getting the caringness from a woman. So sometimes his soft side isn't going to be enough for what you need at that moment. It depends on the situation, it depends on the guy. But ultimately, these things are just minor cons really, because you have to think, would you want the alternative? Because the cons of the feminine man are more abundant than this. So the pros of the masculine man are abundant, and the cons of him, if he's a healthy masculine man, is not that high. Whereas if you're a feminine woman and you get with a feminine man, right, a guy who isn't masculine, the cons are very high and the pros are very low. So it really just depends on which one you would rather pick. For me, I'm a masculine man, so I would rather pick the feminine woman who comes with some cons, but it's much better than the alternative for me. Anyway, I want to know what you think, so comment down below, let Reemus know, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. More than any other time in human history, a restoration, a repair, a respect for the feminine energy is needed. And if you want to check out the process to healing the feminine energy, then you can check out the book, which is available digitally or in print form.